lineup that you see out on your screen now: Adiola, Latunji, Christian Taylor, Raymond Savage, Eden Brocic, and Robert Rossiter. We mentioned Savage with a very strong first half yesterday in the game, Dave, against Salisbury, finishing with 10 points for the game, all 10 in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'd like to welcome all of you in. Of course, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, Mike being on the air, but we are back and we are broadcasting. It's the CUNY Game of the Week, and it's the consolation game of the 16th annual Tournament of Heroes. It's the Roanoke Maroons against the CSI Dolphins. But, Mike, you're right, a big game for both of these teams, coming off losses yesterday that snapped winning streaks and looking to get back in the win column and, of course, turn their attention to the second half of the season, and a good one at that. Both teams are looking for some success here in the second half, and of course it begins tonight.
And you know, Dave, Dolphins looking for consistent play out of young players, and sometimes that can be a hard thing to find.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, they're still developing, they're still finding their way, they're still figuring out who they are and what they can be. And until they do, Mike, the Dolphins are still the CUNYAC champs. They still have, they still have earned that right, and they're still going to be a factor. It's the one thing that we know from CSI teams in the past, Mike, is that even the down teams have factored in somehow late in the season in the CUNY Conference, and this team will as well. I think we're pretty confident of that. And until then, all of these other games are smaller tests to see, litmus tests to see how further they have developed and so on. And we mentioned in the pregame that they're without, a couple of their marquee players. Stephen Flagg is out of the lineup. Rudy LaVentura is out of the lineup. Chris Fabosi, role player reserve, who's played limitedly, he's out of the lineup. So it just means, Mike, in a game like this, that other players are going to have their opportunities to step up and to come aboard and play well. And for those people who are joining us a little bit late, Mike, we should mention that we're a little bit tardy getting off because the shot clocks here at the College of Staten Island simply were not functional. They were during pregame and then just kind of went out. And CSI does have a pair of backup 30-second clocks, so the facility staff here at CSI is putting them together and working them on. They won't be in your screen because they're kind of tucked away in the baseline, kind of out of view. But, they're back online, so we'll see. We do have a scoreboard on the broadcast for you. We're not sure if that shot clock that's on the broadcast will be fully functional.
So we'll see how that goes. But the Roanoke Maroon team heading out onto the floor, and the Dolphins about to come out on the floor. And, like you mentioned, Dave, a developing team, and another test here this afternoon, and against a very good Roanoke team coming in on the season with a record of 7-4.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big test. You could see right off the bat, right at center court, the height differential between CSI's tallest, Adiola Latunji, and, of course, Josh Friend from Roanoke. And it's going to be a battle all day for the Dolphins. 40 minutes. Both teams looking to get back in the win column.
So we're about to get underway. Latunji will jump for the Dolphins. And we're underway. And the Maroons control the opening tip as that's Staten with the basketball. And he'll hand the ball off to Jordan. And we're underway with this 2017 consolation game of the Tournament of Heroes Championship right here at the Tank at Staten Island. Elks with the basketball. Elks looking for somewhere to go, getting the ball out to Sumter. His long three-pointer is good, and that's a good start, Dave, for the Maroons.
Yeah, Eli Sumter, of course, making his 10th start of the season. That's only his 7th made three-pointer in 24 tries, but gives you an example of how deadly this team could be from the perimeter.
So the Dolphins set up offensively for the first time as Taylor gets the ball out over to Savage. Now it's Rossiter out by the three-point line. Rossiter looking to drive his way inside. He kicks it out to Savage. His open three is no good. Latunji is there to grab the rebound and lay it up and in.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Latunji, and he actually shed Douglas Elks, 6'4" freshman, away from that ball to get that rebound. Nice play by Adiola.
So it'll be the Maroons with the basketball now as they work the ball inside, and that shot is going to be knocked away. The rebound is grabbed, and the Dolphins unable to grab the rebound. So it'll be something to bring out the ball now as he kicks the ball out. The long three-pointer is in and out. Fight for the rebound, and another offensive rebound, Dave, for the Maroons.
That's 3 on this possession alone.
They look the ball into the corner now as they get the ball out over to Jordan. Jordan drives his way inside and lays it up and in. And, Dave, it's tough to defend when you have 3 opportunities.
Well, 4, because Friend had the first 2. Both of them blocked by Rossiter and got another 2 attempts off. Did Roanoke, and they make it count.
So now it'll be Rossiter with the ball on the near side. Rossiter looks to drive in the lane against 3 defenders. His shot is up, no good. And Freud is there to grab the rebound, and the Maroons look to run. Sumner with the basketball. Now Freud back over to Sumter. Guarded there by Savage. Sumter driving to the free throw line extended. Good anticipation by Taylor to come away with the basketball. Taylor feeding it over to Latunji. It goes off his hands, and he regains possession. Now it's Rossiter. Out over in the corner to Savage as the Dolphins work the ball around the perimeter. Now Rossiter taking the open 3 and burying it, and he continues with his good play, Dave.
Yeah, that's a nice ball movement there by the Dolphins. Looked like they were going to have a free layup the other way with Latunji. He couldn't control it, but he was wise enough to corral it and then start the offensive drive.
Sumner getting the ball out over to Miles. Miles hands it to Freud, now gets the ball back. Roanoke doing a nice job working the ball around the perimeter. Now they feed it inside. The ball's knocked away, but we're going to have a whistle on the play. And it looks like the first foul of the afternoon will be on the Dolphins.
Yeah, and that time they were able to isolate Front underneath, and he was one-on-one against Ray Savage, and I think Front's going to win that one every time just based on height differential, and working to get back into the play was Rossiter, and couldn't get it to go.
So he'll step to the free throw line, and his first free throw is up and in. And he'll have one more upcoming as Roanoke regains the lead 6-5.
And you mentioned how well Roanoke's better players are able to shoot free throws, and get a good example of that as the Maroons go back up by 2.
So 7-5 to score as Taylor looks over to first-year head coach T.J. Tibbs, gets the signal, and the Dolphins will set up offensively. Latunji with the basketball. Hands off to Bracic. Bracic trying to work his way inside. Beautiful feed, and Latunji lays it up and in. Another nice-looking offensive play, Dave, for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and those are the type of plays you can't make the first couple of games of the season because teams just aren't in harmony yet. But the senior dishing off to the freshman underneath, nice job.
Nice feed inside is now Freud's layup is up, no good. Rossiter grabs the rebound for the Dolphins. Savage bringing the ball up the near side. Now gets it over to Taylor. Taylor kicking it out to Latunji. Dolphins with 15 to shoot. Taylor, Latunji looking to drive his way inside. And now it's Rossiter. Taylor, the open three-pointer is good. So good start for Taylor, and the Dolphins take their first lead 10-7.
Yeah, and a nice look by Rossiter. He went in and drove into the paint 2 or 3 times on that possession, was able to find the open Taylor who buried the 3.
Sumner working the ball inside, but he steps on the end line, and it'll be Dolphin basketball.
Yeah, a couple of unlucky breaks for Roanoke underneath. They've had 3 or 4 good looks with layups, and unfortunately haven't been able to bank them in as we have our first substitutions of the game.
Dolphins coming out playing well offensively here in the early going, and Roanoke likes to play a lot of players, Dave.
Yeah, Joe Michalowskis has entered.
It's Latunji now for the Dolphins. They work it over to Savage in the corner. 12 seconds to shoot now for the Dolphins. Taylor, now it's Rossiter. Rossiter's baseline jumper is up, no good. A fight for the rebound, and it comes down, and a nice play by Taylor to regain possession for the Dolphins. Bracic, Savage, Dolphins working the ball around the perimeter quickly, but Rossiter gets called for the travel, and the Dolphins will turn the ball over.
Yeah, a little helter-skelter play by both teams, generated off that loose offensive rebound by Adeola Latunji. It ended up into the hands of Taylor on his half of the court, and Dolphins couldn't complete the play.
So now it'll be the Maroons with the basketball as that's Jordan. Jordan looking to work against Rossiter. Jordan looking to lob the ball inside to Freud. A nice play by Latunji to knock the ball away as he looks to break down, and I believe that'll be a block, Dave, and it will be.
Yeah, and for Freud, he's gotten 3 of his layups blocked, 2 by Rossiter now, 1 by Latunji, so he's off to a tough start here.
And the Dolphins sagging back with their guards defensively, Dave, and trying to make life difficult for the Maroons, doing a good job of it here so far.
Yeah, they've been able to frustrate the 6'6 junior, Josh Friend.
As Brocic will inbound the basketball, now it's Savage. Over to Latunji. Dolphins working the ball to Brocic for the open three-pointer. It's up no good, and Freud's there to grab the rebound for the Maroons, and they look to run. Miles handing the ball off to Mikalukas. Ball stolen away once again and fed ahead of the field to Latunji. Latunji looking to work against Freud, but he's going to step on the end line, Dave, and turn the ball over. Second time the Dolphins have done this here tonight.
Yeah, and that was a nice job by Freud to kind of establish position there, force Latunji to have to kind of pivot out, and was out of bounds when he did so as Jade Spencer comes in for the Dolphins for his first action, 5+ minutes into the first half.
So the Dolphins leading by a score of 10-7 as the Maroons work the ball across over to the near side of the floor. Get the ball over to Miller. The ball will be knocked out of bounds, but it'll remain Maroon basketball.
Yeah, and you notice how the Dolphins play on the perimeter, how active they are. That's not by accident, as Taylor interrupted that play, as we have 15 on the shot clock.
So the Maroons to inbound the basketball, and it'll be Smith with the Miller. With the basketball. Miller did a good job doing exactly that all game in the second half, Dave, for the Maroons, taking the ball, driving strong to the basket. The senior playing very well for the Maroons.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming off the bench there to score his first points of the game, and Roanoke's been very active and very persistent getting into the paint.
Taylor, Latunji now out by the three-point line. As the Dolphins look to set up offensively, once again, 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Taylor's entry pass is going to be knocked away. It'll remain Dolphin basketball with 8 to shoot.
As we see early shooting here, both teams with 8 shots, Mike, and Roanoke with that one extra made one, but it is the Dolphins with a 1-point lead.
Taylor with the basketball now with 4 to shoot. He pulls up, takes a jumper from the free throw line, extended, and it's good. And, you know, Dave, the last couple of games, Taylor's looked very assertive offensively for the Dolphins.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you what, he was the understudy to Frank Schettino last year, and, you know, he knew that his role would have to blossom this year in his sophomore season, and I think the challenge has been accepted, Mike, here in the early stages.
Yeah, and it was nice to see Frankie here at the game last night, coming by and saying hello. And, you know, Schettino, of course, one of the great Dolphin players, Dave, in history, and, you know, the kind of legacy that this Dolphin team is looking to continue.
Absolutely, and CSI Sportsnet will cover CSI's doubleheader against Lehman next week, and the color analyst during the men's game will be one Frank Schettino, joining Mike Babuski for that game as well. So we're going to see a lot more from Frank these days.
Breaking news by Dave Pizzuto.
We're recruiting everybody, Mike.
Latunji with the basketball, and he's going to get called for the travel, so the Dolphins turn the ball over.
Just a small stutter step that time by Latunji. Another turnover here for the Dolphins in the early going, but they do have a 3-point lead.
So it'll be the Maroons to inbound the basketball as they get the ball in, and C.J. Miles brings the ball across the midcourt line. Now gets the ball up over to Miller. The senior working against the freshman. Now it's Freud with the basketball. Freud back up over to Miles. They work the ball out. The open three-pointer is good. That was Colton Reed, Dave, another freshman player for the Maroons that ties the game up at 12.
Yeah, 9 for 16 for the season is Colton. He knows how to shoot them.
And there, Taylor takes it right to the basket. That basket is good. Taylor has 7. I believe he's 3 of 3 from the field, Dave, as the Dolphins able to force the turnover. Destim now over to Brocic. Brocic at the three-point line. A beautiful feed inside to Latunji, but a shot is knocked away nicely by Freud. Nice defense that time by the Maroons.
Yeah, both teams showing very good defense here, not giving up on plays and taking advantage of a couple of lazy plays on both ends.
As Freud's shot is up, no good, and the rebound grabbed by Spencer, and here come the Dolphins looking to run. Destim, who's checked into the game for the Dolphins. Rigo with the basketball, looking to drive his way inside, but we're going to have a whistle on the play, and I guess it'll be an offensive foul.
Yeah, and I believe it'll be on Rigo Destim, and that also counts as a turnover. So Dolphins with consecutive turnovers their last couple of possessions. Again, that's an area where the Dolphins struggled last night against Salisbury, and really was a focus of head coach TJ Tibbs, and one of the things he wanted to clean up in this one is better protection of the basketball.
Fourth turnover for the Dolphins as it's taken to the basket by Miles, who lays it up and in and draws the foul. And that time, Dave, the seas kind of parted a little bit. CJ took it right to the hole.
Yeah, he had a great lane and was able to put it up with the left hand as we have a quick timeout here called by the Dolphins. It'll be a 30-second timeout, Mike, but a tough 30 seconds for the freshman Rico Desteam, victimized on one end of the floor via the turnover, and of course a victim there of a chance to put the Maroons up by 1.
Yeah, Dave, but we've played just over 8 minutes here in the first half. The game is tied at 14, and what are you seeing so far that you like, Dave, out of the Dolphins?
Well, a lot of activity, Mike, is what I see, especially on the defensive end, getting to the ball, and really, to their credit, Roanoke has made a couple of really good three-pointers, but they really haven't been able to generate a lot of offense inside. Now, granted, Freud has missed a couple of layups. The Dolphins have had some blocks, but I think the Dolphins have really been intent on clogging up the middle of the floor. You could see the three-point shooting and how hot both teams are at this point. The Dolphins doing a nice job inside. I think it's one of the reasons why we're knotted up.
Yeah, and Dave, you look at the rebound, 6-5, Dolphins trailing by just 1. So doing a nice job on the glass. And if you remember, a lot of those rebounds for the Maroons came on that one offensive sequence.
That's right. There was 3 of them on that one sequence as they go back up by 1 thanks to good free throw shooting there.
So 15-14, the Maroons regain the lead as that's Desteam with the basketball, getting the ball up over to Taylor. Taylor looking to get the ball up over to Latunji, but the Dolphins turn the ball over. And here comes Reed. Reed's jumper is good, and freshman comes out and hits a couple of shots. A couple of quick baskets for the Maroons. They lead by 3 now, 17-14.
Yeah, 5-0 run. The Dolphins have turned the ball over 3 times on their last 4 possessions.
Taylor with the basketball. Now it's Desteam. Roanoke coming out playing a zone defense here against the Dolphins. A nice job as they got the ball inside to Rossiter. I thought he had some room, Dave, to take it to the basket. Instead, he tried that extra pass, and the Dolphins turned it over.
And that's exactly what we spoke about in the open, Mike, about the unselfish play of Rob Rossiter. He was wide open underneath. He could have easily just put that right up. Perhaps he didn't know that there was no defenders near him, but the extra pass that time cost the Dolphins their 4th turnover in their last 5 possessions.
That long jumper by Vosberg is up no good. And Desteam with the ball now for the Dolphins. Bounce pass over to Rossiter. Rossiter out by the three-point line now. Desteam, a beautiful feed inside to Taylor, who banks it up and in. And Taylor's really having a great first half here, Dave, for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and he's been everywhere. He's been on the perimeter. He's been in the paint. He's been, coming in off the glass. He's been a real presence here so far.
As that's Miller taking the ball to the basket, but misses the layup. Spencer grabs the rebound, and here comes Taylor for the Dolphins. Taylor, Desteam, the open three-pointer off the rim, no good, and the rebound grabbed by Miles. Miles running down the center of the floor as the Dolphins get back quickly defensively. Elks hands the ball off now to Reed. Reed working it over to Vosberg. Now it's Miller. Miller looking to drive down the basket, but we're going to have a whistle and a foul off the ball on the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's been a quiet game as far as the whistles have been concerned, Mike, and that always benefits guys like us. So nice, clean game. It's been flowing nicely, and here's our first look at James Delahanty for the Dolphins, who we knew was going to be a big presence, taking out Rossiter, and wholesale changes here for Roanoke as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned yesterday, Dave, the foul trouble for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins played a lot of that second half with a lot of plays with 3 and 4 personal fouls, and so far doing a good job staying out of foul trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dolphins with 4 personal fouls. And it's Rigo Desteam who's on the floor with 2. Other than that, nobody in foul trouble. And for Roanoke, they have 3 fouls so far in total. So foul's not an issue tonight.
So we cross the midway point here in the first half as Taylor brings the ball across the midcourt line, and now it's Latunji. Desteam with the basketball, hands off to Spencer. Spencer's pass is knocked away, and the Dolphins turn it over once again as Dolphins have struggled with turnovers here in the last few minutes. Nice defensive play by Delahanty, but the Maroons able to regain possession of the basketball. And we're going to have a whistle. I think there's a problem with the shot clock, Dave.
Yeah, the turnovers are 7-6. The Dolphins with 7, but certainly feels like more, Mike.
So the official goes over to the scorer's table to work out the shot clock issue. They're going to reset it to 20. And with 9 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the first half, the Dolphins trailing by 1, 17-16. The Maroons will look to inbound the basketball. Jordan, guarded now by Savage. He's back into the game for the Dolphins. He looks to drive his way inside, and he banks it up and in. And Jordan showing a nice move to the basket. And that gives the Maroons a 3-point lead once again, 19-16.
Yeah, he's one of the players that really stood out to me from yesterday and watching the tape and, of course, following a little bit of it live. And he's got the ability to do that, play outside in.
Savage with the basketball now is Roanoke doing a good job forcing the Dolphins outside as Destim kicking the ball back to Delahanty with 6 on the shot clock. His jumper is up, no good, but Spencer able to grab the rebound for the Dolphins. Bracic kicking the ball out into the corner. The three-pointer by Destim is good. Big basket by Rigo. We're tied at 19.
Yeah, and that's the presence that he can bring for you. It's very easy to lose track of Rigo Destim if you're the defense, and that time he was able to get some separation, and he was able to make the open basket.
Freud working with the basketball. He kicks the ball out to Jordan. His open three-pointer is no good. Spencer grabs the rebound. Bracic looks to run, but a nice job by the Maroons getting back defensively. Destim with the basketball, kicking it out to Savage. The open three-pointer is up, no good, and Freud there to grab the rebound. And here come the Maroons looking to run. Jordan going coast to coast, misses the layup, but draws the foul.
Yeah, nice, confident move to the basket for Jordan. Was able to part ways, cut into the paint, and he'll get a chance here via the free throw line, where Roanoke has been outstanding so far. They're 3 for 3 from the stripe. Dolphins have yet to shoot a free throw here in this first half.
So Caleb Jordan, the 5'11 sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. His first is up and in. He'll have one more upcoming.
Nice back and forth first half so far, Mike. Both teams really, landing punches, striking back when they've been down, and it's Roanoke's turn here as they are now 5 for 5 from the free throw line and have taken a 2-point lead.
So 21-19 the score as Savage brings the ball up. Now it's Spencer. Now it's Bracic pulling up and taking the quick three-pointer. It's no good. And here come Roanoke looking to run, as that's Reed. Freud out by the three-point line. Now Reed. Reed looks to feed the ball inside, but a nice defensive play by Delahanty to knock it away. And here come the Dolphins. Destim, Bracic in the corner to Savage, whose three-pointer is up. No good, but he gets called for the travel.
Well, it actually was good, Mike, but he got called for the travel, waved off. And that's his first made basket there, but shuffled his feet a little bit before that. Bracic missed a 3, so now the Dolphins 3 of 7 from downtown after a pretty good start.
So the Dolphins turn the ball over once again.
That nice play by Bracic to intercept that.
Savage looks to drive his way inside, and he's blocked on the play.
And that's going to be a non-shooting, I think, Mike, as the gesture was made that he was on the floor. But
yeah, so Savage goes to the floor, and the Dolphins will inbound the basketball with 7:34 remaining. Dolphins trail by 2, 21-19, as Bracic will look to inbound the basketball. Now it's Spencer. Spencer looking to work against Miller. His layup is up, no good. Bracic is there to grab the rebound and lay it up and in, so everything good by Jade, but he just couldn't finish, Dave.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, a little bit too strong on the layup. He got a lot more separation than I thought he was expecting, but it's a great first move by Spencer.
Freud in the lane, lays it up and in.
Yeah, that's a big confidence booster for him. He had started off very quiet, and that's his first made basket, Mike, in 6 tries.
Savage with the basketball. He kicks it out to Bracic. Bracic with the long three-pointer. It's up, no good. A nice job by Delahanty to grab the rebound, but his putback is no good, and here come the Maroons now with the basketball as it's Miller. Miller looking to take it inside, kicks it into the corner. The open three-pointer is good.
Yeah, Roanoke now 3 of 6 from downtown as they stay near 50%. That was their biggest lead at 5 points.
Yeah, that was Jordan Davis, Dave, getting his first basket of the game for the Maroons. Savage Bounce pass now to Bracic. Bracic back up over to Savage. Savage looking to drive in the lane. He turns the ball over. Both teams fighting for possession. And we're going to have a whistle and a jump ball as 5 players on the floor, Dave.
Yeah, that's just great hustle by both teams, Mike. Both teams getting dirty. A lot of mutual respect there as they get up and unpeel themselves out there. That's just 2 teams wanting it. Great job by both. And you really see the activity of the Roanoke perimeter defenders, Mike, really kicking it up a notch, making it harder for the Dolphins to get their entry passes into the paint.
So the Dolphins now trailing by 5, as you mentioned, Dave. The biggest deficit of the game for the Dolphins is Taylor puts up the long three-pointer. That's up no good, and Freud's there to grab the rebound. Dolphins.
Inadvertent whistle, I believe. Actually, the shot clock is off, Mike. So as we have another issue with that. In case you joined us late, the shot clocks that hang above the rim, as you can see it on your screen, above the backboard, they just inexplicably went out during pregame warm-ups. Maybe it was hit by a ball or whatnot, but the Dolphins do have backup shot clocks that are on the floor. You can't see it in your screen. They're buried in the corners, but now those are not working. So with 6:15 remaining, an abbreviated timeout here on the floor as both teams get back to their respective benches, and they look to figure stuff out.
And, you know, Dave, you look at the way the Dolphin offense has gone here in the first half. They've gotten great production out of Christian Taylor, who's just missed his first shot, but he's shot 4 or 5, and he has 9 points. But you look at the rest of the team, Dave, as you can see it on our screen, shooting just 5 of 17, and struggling a little bit offensively, and have turned the ball over here 8 times, Dave, so far here in the first half.
Yeah, but only recently have I been disappointed by the shot selection by the Dolphins. They've had good shots. They've inside open looks. Yeah, they've missed a couple of baseline threes that they were open for, but really, Mike, it's only been the last couple of possessions where the Dolphins have put up some erratic type shots. And yeah, you're right. The turnovers are really what have stalled this offense a little bit. Both teams with 8 turnovers. Now, some of them good defensive plays, Mike, on both sides, but the Dolphins especially, a couple of inexplicable turnovers. A couple of offensive fouls. They had a shuffling of Ray Savage on the three-point line that negated a 3. So, a couple of inopportune turnovers for the Dolphins, and that was an area where we focused on in the pregame to note that it's what they wanted to clean up. But as you can see on your screen, Dolphins haven't exactly won that battle. Yeah,
so 8-8 the turnovers here so far here in the first half, and Roanoke has gone to the line 5 times. Dolphins yet to go to the free throw line, but Dolphins doing a pretty good job on the glass here so far, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if that's a statistic that you're looking for, the Dolphins have been right there with Roanoke, and with the exception really of that one possession where Roanoke got 3 and 4 offensive chances in a row, it's been a dead heat. Both teams with 11 rebounds in the game, so the score pretty indicative of the way things have gone. A lot of back and forth play. Roanoke, though, with their biggest lead and a chance to grow it here.
So it's the Maroons with the basketball as they get the ball up over to Jordan. Jordan now feeds the ball out up over to Freud, and now it's going to be Miles. Miles back to Sumter. Sumter fakes the long shot, passes it back for the open three-pointer, and it's good.
Yeah, and at that time the Dolphins were a little bit late getting back to the perimeter. They're, a half a step behind now. You wonder if Roanoke has got a little bit more pep in the step here, and if the Dolphins' fatigue might be setting in just a little bit.
And Roanoke now 4 of 7 from the three-point line as it's Destine with the basketball over to Spencer. Spencer back to Destine. He looks to feed it inside to Delahanty as that ball gets deflected and goes off the backboard, but the Maroons come away now with the basketball. Sumner looking to work his way inside. He looks to feed it inside. A beautiful feed that time inside to Freud, who lays it up and in.
Yep, now it's 31-21, and just like that, another big lead. The Dolphins are going to have to work their way out of, and now it's all about chipping away.
Yeah, Taylor with the ball now for the Dolphins. He works the ball up in the corner to Bracic, and that's a big three-pointer, Dave, that the Dolphins desperately needed.
And big for Eden, too, because he was 0 for his first 3 from long range and finally gets one to go.
As Sumner looks to take the ball inside, and that was Spencer that knocked that one away. Staten with the basketball, and that'll be a kick ball, so it'll remain Dolphin possession.
And the Dolphins will be able to insert two more starters back in the game, Latunji and Rossiter, who both had extended time on the bench. They'll replace Delahanty and Staten. So the Dolphins, with the exception of Jade Spencer, with their starting five back in.
So Delahanty did not play in yesterday's game, Dave, logging some significant minutes here in the first half. Taylor working the ball up over to Brocic. Now it's back to Taylor. He works the ball up over to Latunji. Latunji bounce pass goes up over to Taylor. He looked to work his way inside. Nice play by Freud to knock the ball away, and now it's Jordan. Jordan feeds it over to Miller, who lays it up and in.
That time the Dolphins really struggled against that Roanoke zone, and they were able to generate another turnover, the 9th of the game for the Dolphins, and turning it into points the other way.
Brocic, a beautiful feed inside to Rossiter. Now it's Latunji. Latunji stops. Pull-up three is no good, and Jordan there to grab the rebound for the Maroons. Jordan looking to take it coast to coast, spins his way inside and lays it up and in. And that time, Khalib able to just drive right through the center of the Dolphin defense, Dave.
5'11" sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, been one of the more attractive players on this team, really showing it here this afternoon.
Taylor misses his second shot of the afternoon, and now the Maroons with the basketball and an 11-point lead. They work it over to Sumner. His open three is no good. Taylor grabs the rebound, and he'll draw the foul.
Yeah, Roanoke is just playing at a little bit higher of a level at this point, Mike. Just faster, quicker, rotating more, getting in the face. And you can see defensively the Dolphins letting down a little bit too, Mike. Not pressuring the perimeter as they were in the first 5 or 6 minutes. And, you know, fatigue could be a little bit of a factor. But at the same time, Roanoke just elevating their game here these last 5-6 minutes.
Savage with the basketball now. Savage works the ball out over to Brocic. Now it's Savage. Savage among three Maroon players tosses the ball out of bounds, and the Dolphins will turn it over once again.
Yeah, that zone really giving the Dolphins trouble. Their perimeter players are having a real devil of a time trying to penetrate inside, Mike, and because of that, the lanes are closing up a little bit quicker, and another errant pass, the 10th turnover of the game for the Dolphins.
So Sumner will bring the ball across the midcourt line and get the ball up over to Freud. Now it's Sumner out at the three-point line looking to work against Savage. He kicks the ball into the corner. The open three is no good, and Brocic goes up to grab the rebound, and here come the Dolphins looking to run. Maroons do a good job getting back, and now it's Brocic. He feeds it over to Taylor, who lays it up and in and draws the foul.
Yeah, and Taylor understanding the zone, understanding that Roanoke is going to pressure the perimeter, jets in. Brocic in perfect harmony with him, gives him a beautiful pass, and for the first time tonight, the Dolphins are on the free throw line.
So Taylor will go to the line for the Dolphins. He leads all scorers with 11. And his free throw is up and no good. And the Maroons grab the rebound. They have the basketball in a 9-point lead with 2:35 left here in the first half. Sumner with the basketball, out by the three-point line. He feeds it inside to Freud. Freud bounce pass inside, and that was Reed's layup, no good. And the rebound grab now by Savage. Bounce pass comes up over to Taylor. Now it's Brocic. Brocic over to Spencer. Now Taylor's. Dolphins working around the three-point line. Brocic over to Savage. His open three-pointer. This time it's good.
Yeah, last time Savage made it from that very spot, except he had traveled before. And just like that, the Dolphins have narrowed the lead down to 6.
35-29 the score. As that's Miller with the basketball. Miller driving inside. Now it's Sumner. Now Savage looking to work his way inside. A nice job by Spencer once again to come over and knock the ball away. And Savage picks it up for the Dolphins. Now Brocic over to Taylor. Savage at the three-point line. Now he works it over to Brocic. He puts up the long three-pointer and buries it, and Dolphins on a run of their own, Dave.
Mike, how do you beat a zone? You got to make your open jumpers, and that's what the Dolphins have done the last 2 trips down the floor, able to force penetration up front and able to find the open man, bury the shot. 30-second timeout. Dolphins right back in it, Mike, after being down by as many as 11. They have now reeled off the last 8 points and are down by 3.
Yeah, and, it makes a big difference when you're able to hit your outside shots, Dave. And, the Dolphins were struggling from 3, but all of a sudden a couple of back-to-back threes, and the Dolphins get themselves right back in the game.
Yeah, and, the Dolphins have had a real tough tough job handling that Roanoke press. But the Roanoke zone. But the one thing that zone defenses will do, Mike, is you will be able to find open looks. And as you can see, the Dolphins making their three-point shots. They've taken a bunch, but when you can hit on 40% of them like the Dolphins are doing, you're going to be in good shape, and that's where we are right now here in the CUNY Game of the Week.
And, Dave, Taylor hit his last 3, and Brouchard just hit his last 2. So the Dolphins worked themselves right back in the game. It's a one-possession game now with 1 minute and 27 seconds left here in the first half. And Miller with the basketball now for the Maroons. Miller hands it off to Jordan. Jordan looks to work his way inside. His bounce pass to Freud goes off his hands and out of bounds. And Dolphins doing a good job forcing Roanoke into a lot of turnovers, Dave.
Yeah, and Freud is having the first half to forget here for Roanoke. He's played well. He's been in good positions. He's only made 2 of 7 from the floor. This is a 60% field goal shooter. He's had a couple of shots blocked. He saw that one go right through the wickets on a nice feed from Jordan. So Dolphins get a break. Roanoke's 9th turnover of the game. We'll see if the Dolphins can make it hurt.
And, Dave, this is a Roanoke team that averages less than 14 turnovers a game, so the Dolphins doing a good job here defensively in the first half. Savage works the ball to Latunji. His open jumper is up, no good. And the rebound controlled now by the Maroons. Jordan with the basketball. Jordan looking to work against the bigger Spencer. Jordan now forced out to the perimeter. Now it's Miller working his way inside. His layup is up, no good, but he'll draw the foul.
As good as Roanoke has been beyond the arc, Mike, I think this is really the strength of their game, is their ability to go outside in, generate in the paint, use their physicality to get themselves good chances inside, and another opportunity at the line where they've been perfect here in the first half. So an area of the game that has really worked to Roanoke's benefit here in the first half.
Yeah, Joey Miller very aggressive, taking the ball to the basket in both games here in this Tournament of Heroes. And Khalib Jordan and C.J. Miles, the 2 other perimeter players, they really like to take the ball inside as well.
Yeah, and I think that's their strength because they garner a lot of attention. So then that makes players like Freud open underneath, and they've been able to find him on occasion too via the dish. Meanwhile, Roanoke 6 of 6 from the line and make that 7 of 7 as they've been perfect here in the first half.
So Miller hits his free throws. He now has 6 points and the lead back to 5, 37-32. Savage over to Rossiter. Inside of 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. Taylor with the basketball now out over to Savage. Back to Taylor. Taylor looking to create some open lane for the Dolphins, and now it's Savage. Dolphins over to Taylor. Taylor flies his way inside, but he's going to get called for the offensive foul.
I don't know, Mike. That was a in-between call there. 14.6 on the clock. It'll leave time for one last shot if Roanoke chooses to use the entirety of it.
So the Dolphins will look to press the Maroons here. As the Dolphins trailing by 5 with 14.6 seconds remaining.
There's a pretty big possession here as we close out the first half.
So it'll be Miles with the basketball now. He hands off to Jordan with 10 seconds. Look for Jordan to try to break his way inside to the lane. Now he kicks it out to Miller. Now Miller goes inside, and he's kind of able to use the Freud pick, but they're unable to convert. So we're going to go into halftime, Dave, with a 5-point game.
Yeah, Mike, we promised our viewers a good 2 games here. We're one half in the books, and it's been great. I mean, 2 teams really battling hard. Defense has been there. Perimeter game's been there. And TJ Tibbs is coming aboard to talk to you, Mike.
So we're pleased once again to be joined by the men's head basketball coach, TJ Tibbs. Coach, team down by 5 at halftime. What do you think about the way the team played in the first half?
I think we need to play with a little bit of energy. I think we need to share the ball more. They went 1-3-1 in the later half of the first half. Kind of threw us off a little bit. We had 2 big guys out there. I think James Delahanty did a really good job. But I think the ball just needs to continue to move. We're losing their shooters on defense. Jade Spencer's playing incredible, so he did a good job of anchoring our defense. But I think if we just put some focus on staying home, that will be fine in the second half.
Coach, the team turned the ball over 12 times, but you forced the Roanoke team that rarely turns the ball over to turn it over 9. How do you turn those numbers around in the second half?
Well, we need to, because they should be the ones turning it over 12, and we should be turning it over 9. But I know it's tough to play a game. We played 15 hours ago, and the way that we play, it's kind of hard to maintain that energy. But I give my kids a lot of credit. They're playing hard. We may not get as many turnovers as we like today, but as long as the defensive pressure there, that's what we need.
Thanks for coming over, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
That's head basketball coach T.J. Tibbs. Dave, the Dolphins trailing at halftime 37-32. Before we take a quick break, your quick thoughts on that first half.
Exciting. Both teams really adjusting to the others as far as styles are concerned. They really put their best foot forward. I think both teams really understood that they had a really good opportunity here in front of them and able to really play well. Like you mentioned to TJ, Mike, a little sloppy at times. You don't want 12 turnovers, especially in a single half. And of course, those are projecting a really robust number. Too many if you're a Dolphin fan. But the bottom line is the Dolphins saw themselves down 35-24 at one point, and the game seemed to be slipping a little bit out of control. Roanoke was a little bit of a step ahead. They had a little bit more pep in their step, and Dolphins asked for a quick time to think things over. They got their act together. They hit a couple of big-time threes. That's how you break presses, and that's how you break zone defenses, and they were able to claw themselves back in, and they're within spitting distance here, Mike, 37-32. This game is anybody's going into the second half.
So we're at halftime here. Why don't we step aside and take a break as you're watching the CUNYAC Game of the Week here on CSI Sportsnet. The Dolphins trailing at the half, 37-32, so stay tuned and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes as you're watching basketball coverage exclusively, the CUNYAC Game of the Week, right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Nice.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Mom. Dear.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
We're leaving.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android.
This is awesome.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
Own the morning with Tim Hortons. Get a sausage and cheese English muffin made to order for only $1. Made with savory sausage and American cheese on a toasted English muffin. Prepared for you for only $1. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons. There's something delicious happening this season at Tim Hortons, and it's only 99 cents. Get a rich, decadent hot chocolate or creamy French vanilla for the sweet price of 99 cents. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons.
We're back here at halftime on the Cuniac Game of the Week. The College of Staten Island trails Roanoke College by a score of 37-32. And, you know, it's kind of been a back and forth first half. Roanoke going up by as many as 11, Dave, but the Dolphins doing a nice job working that lead down toward the end of the first half.
Yeah, you know what? Both teams had, very similar statistics in terms of shots taken. The Dolphins had one more shot taken, as you see on your screen. Very similar all down the line, Mike, with the exception of course, the Dolphins have taken a lot more three-pointers, made a couple of more than did their opponent. And then you have the free throws where Roanoke was just 7 of 7 and CSI was just the 0 for 1. But the rebounds are a dead heat. The turnovers, you mentioned it to TJ right before the half. Dolphins need to clean that up and reverse that, and we'll see if they can.
So the Dolphins trailing here by a score of 37-32, and the Dolphins struggling a little bit, Dave, from the three-point line, but able to hit their last three-pointers. to kind of stabilize the game a little bit and get themselves back into this game, trailing by just 5, Dave, at halftime.
Yeah, and you know what? 5 points, Mike, is 2 possessions. So, I mean, this is still anybody's contest. You know both teams are going to get chances. You know both teams are going to play good perimeter defense. The teams have played well on both ends of the floor, and I think Roanoke really started to amp up the defensive pressure with their perimeter defense, with that zone defense, really started to clog up the inside, and the Dolphins kind of abandoned their inside game a little bit, Mike, in the latter stages of the first half. So for me, I would expect the Dolphins to get back to trying to force the play inside. We saw Rob Rossiter there in the early stages. We saw Latunji there in the early stages, and I think that's going to be important for them. And for Roanoke, they did have a lot of chances, Mike, on the inside, not able to convert, but I think their slash game, their ability to go outside in, really helped them, and I think they're going to pound it down low into Freud a little bit more this half. Remember, he had a few shots blocked. Dolphins have played well in the interior, Mike, but I still think that's where Roanoke can really have success against the Dolphins in the second half.
And the Dolphins getting very good defense play out of Jade Spencer in that first half, Dave. He ends up leading all Dolphins in rebounds with 5 rebounds in 14 minutes and also had a couple of blocks on the inside as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, very active, very involved in everything that's going on. All the Dolphins starters really had a lot of time and a lot of, on the floor and the minutes played, and I think that's the way it's going to have to be in the second half. There's going to be no gimmies in this game. Neither team is going to, bow down to the other. We saw the Dolphins go down by 11 points. I thought that they were clearly, Mike, up against the ropes. I kind of felt like the game could go, one of two ways from there. Either, Roanoke was going to take a 13, 15, 17-point lead into halftime, or the Dolphins were going to be able to do what they did, finish the first half on an 8-2 run, really ramped up their game, and even the 2 points that they gave up was at the free throw line. So they did a really nice job there in the final stages of that first half. And for the Dolphins, they just have to continue that, try and reverse it. Remember, they were down by 5 yesterday against Salisbury, ended up losing by 18. So the Dolphins have seen this go in a different direction. Today, new slate, they want to be able to complete the game.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Dave, the Dolphins trailing by 5 at halftime yesterday. That score was 47-42, and then Salisbury got off to a very strong start in the second half and opened up a lead to as many as 18 in that second half. And here today, both teams scoring much less. The Dolphins giving up 10 less points in this first half than they did yesterday, scoring 10 less as well. But, the way the Dolphins play offensively, Dave, this might be the kind of game more to their taste.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the way Roanoke likes to play too. Remember, low scoring. They don't give up a lot of points. I think Roanoke has CSI really points-wise where they want them. And, if you're CSI, you also have to come into this half understanding the fact that this is a Roanoke team that makes its money defensively. So when they're up on you, when they have a 5, when they have a 7, when they have a 9-point lead, that's when the jaws of death come out and they kind of slow the game down and they make it their game. So if you're the Dolphins, I think you want to start fast in this half. Amp up the tempo, make sure you play a fast game, take Roanoke out of that kind of mentality where they're going to wear things down until you ultimately submit.
Yeah, and you look at the game here today for the Dolphins, and this was mentioned by head coach T.J. Tibbs, their second game in about 15 hours.
Yeah, and they're not used to it, especially with a 20-day layoff coming into this one, and, of course, a layoff practice-wise, too, because of the NCAA 19-week rule. So, Roanoke's in a similar position. It's not like they've been playing a lot of basketball either, but certainly a chance to shake off the rust and get back into play where – now it'll become a little bit more fast and furious, Mike, where a lot more CUNY on the schedule, and what better segue to introduce, of course, the fact that this is our CUNY game of the week. There was one yesterday as well at Lehman College, Coaches versus Cancer game there. Great job by all the folks at Lehman, and, of course, we pick up here with the CUNY weekend game of the week here, Roanoke and CSI, part of a weekly game that the CUNY will spotlight every single week, Mike, leading up to the championship, which we know, of course, is always hosted at CCNY and will feature some really great basketball down the way. We'll be a part of it. Happy to bring it to you. Happy to work with the CUNY and the ECAC on this venture. And, of course, looking to bring you some great basketball along the way.
And, you know, Dave, of course, for the Dolphins inside the conference, they're 3-0 already. 2 of those 3 wins on the road. They'll be at home this Wednesday against Lehman College, and then 3 more consecutive conference road games, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, they have that game at home, and then they have to go on the road. So a real important one midweek next week to kind of reintroduce CUNY Athletic Conference play, as Roanoke will have our first possession here of the second half.
So it's going to be the Maroons with the basketball here as we're underway in half number 2. Dolphins trailing here by 5 points, and that'll be Miles with the basketball now for the Maroons, guarded by Brocic. Now they're going to work the ball up over to Elks. Now they feed the ball inside, and the shot by Freud is up and in. So Dolphins got a hand on it defensively, Dave, but Josh still strong enough to lay it up and in.
Yeah, Taylor will not get credit for the block, although he did have a pretty clean one on Freud there, and that's what Roanoke was missing in that first half. Freud's 60% shooting from the floor.
Rossiter looking to work his way inside against 3 Maroon players. His shot is up, no good, but he does a nice job tipping it to Latunji, but he can't finish.
Yeah, that's just a tough break for the Dolphins. They have 3 opportunities, all from in close, and all of them a miss.
So Latunji now 2 of 6 from the field. I believe he hit his first 2 shots as well, so the Dolphins need him to get on track here. His Freud shot is up no good, and the Dolphins control the rebound, and they look to run.
Mike, he's been blocked 4 times in this one.
Rossiter, the one-handed floater in the lane is good.
And because he fell on the play, Mike Freud did, he was a little late getting back defensively, and that allowed Rossiter to take advantage underneath. So big swing that time for the Dolphins.
39-34 now. The Dolphins trailing by 5 as it's
Mike,
something to...
mismatch underneath. Sorry, Mike.
That's okay. They look to get the ball inside, but they take the jumper, that's Sumner, and his shot is no good, and it's Brocic with the ball now for the Dolphins over to Latunji.
Roanoke didn't see it, but it was Freud posting up against Ray Savage underneath all alone.
Rossiter drives down the lane and lays it up and in. Big start for Rossiter here in the second half, Dave. 2 quick baskets to bring the Dolphins to within 3.
It's exactly what we said in the pregame, Mike, about Rossiter being a little bit less selfish, a little bit less unselfish, and getting the ball in his hands, taking it to the hole. He's got a really good scoring touch from the outside, and he's able to convert those baskets as well.
So Rossiter completes the 3-point play. The Dolphins hit their first free throw of the evening, and the lead is down to 2.
Rossiter now 3 of 6 from the floor.
Freud with the basketball out by the 3-point line. Now it's Sumner. Now it's Freud. Way out beyond the basket. Sumter feeds it out. Driving inside, that time is Miles. Now it's Elks. His pass goes out of bounds, and it'll be a turnover now. And the Dolphins will regain possession of the basketball as the freshman turns the ball over, Dave, for the Maroons.
Yeah, so 2:09 into the second half. We have our first turnover of the half, and it belongs to Roanoke. 22 total turnovers between the 2 teams here.
Savage with the basketball. A beautiful feed inside to Taylor. Taylor, bounce pass goes up over to Rossiter. Rossiter's 3-pointer is up, no good. And the rebound's grabbed by Sumter now as the Maroons look to run. Sumter's pass is knocked away. Taylor gets a hand on it, and here come the Dolphins. 2-on-1. Latunji to the basket, lays it up and in.
Nice job, as the Dolphins are able now to tie the game up after falling behind by as many as 11 in the later stages of the first.
So the Dolphins in the middle now of a 7-0 run, I believe, to tie the game up at 39 as that layup is up and in. And that time, Freud draws the foul.
Yeah, and he's been the X factor. Josh Freud has been limited, and by limited, he still has 8 points here in this one and 7 rebounds, but only 3 of 9 from the floor. He's had 4 shots blocked in this game. He's now 4 of 10 from the floor for 10 points, but he's been equally effective here at the line, 2 for 2, and a chance to extend here a 3-point play.
As the Maroons missed their first free throw of the night, and the ball is knocked out of bounds. Last touch that time by Michalukas, so it will be Dolphin basketball. Dolphins doing a nice job, Dave, playing very resiliently here so far this afternoon.
Yeah, and the starters have played really well in this one too, Mike.
Latunji with the basketball, hands the ball off to Savage. Savage, a beautiful feed inside to Latunji, who lays it up and in and draws the foul.
Well, that's on consecutive drives where Savage has had some really sterling passes down underneath, was able to find Latunji again. He's had a little bit of bad luck at the inside the paint, Mike, on some layups, not that time, and now he has a chance to complete a three-point play.
So the Dolphins looking to regain the lead with 16:47 remaining here in the second half, and they retake the lead now, 42-41.
It's their first lead since the 12th minute of the first half, Mike. The Dolphins were up 14-12. Now they're up 42-41.
So Freud with the basketball, looking to drive inside against Rossiter, looking to use his size, and he's able to bank it up and in, and used a lot of body on that play, Dave, to shield Rossiter off the ball and then hit the jumper.
I'll tell you what, that was not an easy play for Freud at all. Beautiful jumper there, and a nice defensive play by Rossiter to be up front.
Taylor with the basketball. He now gets it over to Rossiter. Rossiter working to work against three Maroons, and his one-handed floater in the lane is good.
Yeah, and Rob Rossiter returning the favor. He's grimacing as he comes back down the floor, but looks to be okay. 30-second timeout called by the Dolphins. And, Mike, this happened yesterday, too. I made a note of it in the second half, CSI's game against Salisbury, where they cut the lead to 46-40 after a couple of big shots. They took a 30-second timeout and then gave up 8 straight points. So this is a crucial moment in the game here for the Dolphins, because they elect to call a timeout following a made basket. And now they will we'll see what kind of response that they have following the timeout.
So the Dolphins coming out here, Dave, in the second half, shooting 5 of 9 from the field so far. They've hit both of their free throws. They've out-rebounded Roanoke 5-2 and forced 2 turnovers without turning the ball over themselves. So good start for the second half here for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and Rossiter had 3 points at the half. He now has 10. So he has 7 of the Dolphins' second half points, 12 in total for the Dolphins here, as they've outscored Roanoke 12-6 here in the early stages of the second half.
So it'll be Jordan to bring the ball up across the midcourt line, and Brocic is there to greet him. Jordan now working the ball across the floor. They get the ball over to Mikalukas. Now it's Freud. Now Miller back into the game. Long three-pointer by Miles is good. That was a long three-pointer by CJ on that one, Dave.
Yeah, you know what? Joey Miller had a chance to penetrate inside and instead elected to dish it off. And good idea as it went down for 3.
Taylor with the ball, gets it over to Rossiter. Now it's Brocic. Brocic fakes the 3, now pulls up for the jumper. That's no good, and it'll be Miles with the rebound now. Miles angling his way down. A nice bounce pass inside to Miller. Dolphins come over strong defensively, but get called for the foul.
Brocic might have caught a little bit of that wrist that time. Otherwise, it looked like another block. But 2 shots here for number 12, Joey Miller, who's played well here in a reserve role, coming off the bench. He's got 6 points and 3 rebounds. And he's 2 for 2 from the free throw line tonight.
So Miller's first free throw is up and in.
So now, Mike, following that timeout that CSI took, 4-0 run for Roanoke.
Make it 5-0 as Roanoke now 9 of 10 from the free throw line. And they open the lead back up to 4. Taylor with the basketball. Now gets the ball up over to Savage. Now it's Latunji. Latunji out by the three-point line, feeds it out over to Brocic. Now Latunji. Latunji loses his footing, and the Dolphins turn the ball over. Miller gets the ball out over to Jordan. Jordan crossover dribble. Now it's going to be Miles. Jordan back up over to Miles. Miles looks to drive his way inside. The ball gets knocked away. Now Freud, a beautiful bounce pass inside, but that time they can't complete the shot as Jordan misses the layup. And now it'll be Taylor.
Yeah, that ball might have taken Jordan a little bit by surprise. Otherwise, a beautiful pass by Freud.
Savage's long three-pointer is good.
That breaks up the 5-0 mini run by Roanoke, and that's a big basket for Savage, who's had a couple of those big ones today.
Savage 2 for 4 from the field, all from 3-point. As it's now Miller. Miller driving inside and lays it up and in.
Yeah, that's been his strength all game long. He's now 3 for 5 from the floor and puts Roanoke back up by 3.
50-47 the score here, as now it'll be Savage.
See the three-point shooting on your screen. Both teams staying hot.
Savage now feeding the ball out over to Taylor. Taylor looking to spread apart the Maroon defense, and now it's Savage who hits the three-pointer as both teams start to heat up from the field, Dave.
Yep, and it's back a 0-0 ball game here, Mike, with just under 14 left.
Dolphins outscoring the Maroons 18-13 so far here in the second half. Miller with the basketball. Now he hands the ball off over to Jordan. Jordan looking to go around the perimeter. Taylor gets a hand inside but can't knock it away. Lucas just plows his way inside, and that's going to be a charge.
Yeah, you know, I saw Rossiter move a little bit, Mike, as he accepted that charge. Could have went either way there, but Miskaluskas went so hard into Rossiter that it was made it a little bit easier for the men in black and white.
As the foul called, and that's going to be his third personal of the afternoon, as Rossiter goes to the bench, and he really turned around that Dolphin offense here in the start of the second half, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what they need from him. You know, he's a second-year junior for this team, one of the elder statesmen, if you could believe it, and those are the roles that he has to play.
So it'll be the Steam with the basketball. The Steam now gets it up over to Taylor. Taylor now Spencer. Spencer out behind the three-point line as Dolphins look to get the ball out over to Spencer. His jumper from the top of the key is good, and the Dolphins could ever find a way to get some offense out of Jade Spencer, Dave. He could really help this team.
Yeah, and that was a nice job by Desteem to find him after two defenders converged on him.
As that ball is taken inside, now they kick the ball out toward the three-point line. Now they feed it inside to Floyd, who lays it up and in, and that was a nice handoff that time by Jordan Davis, who checked into the game for the Maroons, Dave.
And it's been both teams' ability to break the zone that really have led to a couple of good opportunities. That time it was Roanoke's turn.
52-52 to score as Spencer gets it over to Savage. His open three is up and no good. And we have a whistle and a foul on the play.
Yeah, Latunji got a really nice break to the rebound on that play, Mike, and unfortunately he was impeded by Roanoke, number 10, Jordan Davis, who picked up his first.
So that'll be 4 team fouls now on Roanoke here with 12 minutes and 27 seconds. As it'll be Desteem to inbound the basketball now for the Dolphins. Now it's Latunji. Over to Savage. Bounce pass goes out over to Taylor. Taylor out behind the three-point line. Bounce pass to Spencer. Spencer's jumper is good.
Yeah, Spencer feeling it a little bit here from the inside of the perimeter game. Jade Spencer with an improved offensive performance.
2 quick baskets by Spencer as that open jumper from 3 is no good. And now rebound will be grabbed by Latunji, and Dolphins with the ball in a 2-point lead. Taylor working the ball inside to Spencer, who lays it up and in, but we're going to have a whistle and an offensive foul.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I know Spencer didn't want that one, but he did lower the shoulder just a little, but faded back as he shot. That was a big trip down the floor, too. You could sense the Dolphins trying to really steal momentum fully here. They've been good in this first 8+ minutes of the second half.
So it'll be Jordan bringing the ball across the midcourt line now. Jordan, crossover dribble. Jordan forced backwards now, gets the ball out over to Elks. Elks now gets it to Davis. Davis working the ball back up over to Elks. Dolphins playing good defense here as Davis able to drive down the lane. His layup is up, no good. And Taylor able to come away with the rebound.
What a job by Christian Taylor to get to that rebound, too. Kind of cutting in front of Elks.
Taylor working the ball into the corner as the Desteem double teamed over to Spencer. His jumper is up, no good. And going up high for the rebound that time is Elks. Jordan, Freud. Out by the three-point line, it's Elks. Elks gets the handoff. He drives down the lane and lays it up and in. Strong move by the freshman, Dave, as he gets his first basket of the afternoon.
Yeah, he got a nice screen from Freud on that one right at the top of the key and was able to beat Spencer to the point of attack.
Savage with the basketball. Bounce pass goes up over to Taylor. Taylor back up over to Savage. Savage with the basketball. Feeds the ball out over to Latunji. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Taylor at the three-point line. Pulls up and buries it. Taylor started off strong offensively. Dave gets his first basket here in the second half.
Yeah, he was 4 for his first 4. Cooled off to 5 for 7. Now 6 of 8 from the field. As you see his numbers on your screen, they've been good.
Elks with the basketball. Gets the ball back up over to Jordan. Now it's going to be Reed. Reed loses possession, and Taylor gets ahead of the field and lays it up and in. Dolphins open up their biggest lead, Dave. It's now 5, 59-54.
He's got such a good reach, and now it is Roanoke that wants to talk it over. We'll see what they use here. 30-second timeout called by Roanoke.
So let's keep it right here, Dave. The Dolphins in the middle now of a 7-2 run and have turned a 52-52 game into a 59-54 lead.
Yeah, they've done it with really good shooting here in this second half, Mike. They have shot 11 of 18 from the floor in this half. They're shooting above 50% for the game, and so is Roanoke. They're shooting exactly 50% for the game. And, Mike, this is the type of game that kind of Roanoke didn't want to play. Remember, they wanted to take the air out of the ball. They wanted to play low scoring, hold their opponents to that 60 range, 65 range. It's not going their way because the Dolphins are doing a good job in transition. And, Mike, you said to TJ, how do you reverse the turnovers in the second half? You know, he gave you his answer, and it is working. The Dolphins with just 2 turnovers here in the first 10 minutes after 12 in the first half. And we've had 4 so far for Roanoke.
So the Dolphins with their biggest lead of the game. It's 5 points as we're midway through the second half. Feed goes inside that time to Vosberg as he loses possession but is able to maintain it and get the ball out. As now the ball's going to get fed over to Davis, and his open 3 is good. That's a big 3-point shot, Dave.
No doubt about it. And Davis with a hand in his face of Christian Taylor, a little late getting there, but was able to get the hands up. That's a big-time 3 there for Davis.
Yeah, Davis, the 5'11 freshman, brings it to a 2-point game. As the Dolphins have the basketball now, as Latunji worked his way inside it. A short jumper is good, and, you know, the Dolphins need offense from Adiola. He's given it to them here in the second half, Dave.
Yeah, and his ability to elevate in the paint that time served him well, able to get over all the defenders and make the play.
So now the Dolphins with a 4-point lead as the ball comes out over to Elks. Elks kicking the ball out. Another open 3-pointer is good. That one by C.J. Miles, Dave.
Yeah, and you got to give credit where credit is due. Roanoke now 7 of 14 from beyond 3-point range, and they are really hitting their open looks. The Dolphins have tested them. They've clogged up the inside, forced them to take those outside shots, but give credit to the Maroons. They've made their shots.
As driving to the basket and getting called for the block will be Roanoke. And you look at the 3-point shooting now, Dave. Roanoke 7 of 14, the Dolphins 9 of 20, but Roanoke's hit their last couple, Dave.
Yeah, those are NBA-type numbers, Mike, right there. Both teams around 50% from the arc. Really exciting stuff. Guys have been left open. Both teams playing zone, and both teams hitting some shots here. The Dolphins will get a fresh 30 after this foul called. It was against number 13, Douglas Elks, his second. Actually, the shot clock says 20 on it.
So the ball will get lobbed in, and it'll be Latunji who hands the ball off to Taylor. Back to Latunji. Taylor at the 3-point line now as he's forced back by the strong Maroon defense. His pass inside is going to be stolen and knocked away. And here comes Miller with the basketball. Miller working the ball out to the 3-point line, and Taylor will draw the foul. As that time he kind of just lost his balance a little bit and charged into C.J. Miles.
Yeah, that was just an unlucky play there for Christian Taylor. He kind of got bounced off a defender and right into the Maroons player. And as we see Eden Brocic return, placing Ray Savage, who's been strong here and getting the start here tonight in place of the absent Stephen Flagg.
Big play in the backcourt by Davis and Miles to keep Roanoke right in this game. Miles 4 for 4 from the field, including 3 of 3 from the 3-point line. Is that time Miller's pass is going to be knocked out of bounds, so it'll remain Maroon basketball with 12 seconds to shoot.
And Mike, while you're following the ball, I'm kind of looking on the inside, and there is some real jockeying for position down there. I mean, both teams working really hard, trying to establish position, and neither team really wanting to give up anything there in the paint.
So Roanoke looks to get the ball in, and they get the ball into Freud. 8 seconds on the shot clock as they kick the ball out now, as it's going to be fed up to Miller. His open three-pointer is up, no good, but that time Freud able to go up strong, grab the rebound, and lay it up and in. And first time, Dave, in the second half, the Dolphins have really been hurt off the offensive glass.
Yeah, and again, that's just an unlucky play because the Dolphins had 3 white jerseys near that ball, and the ball, the rebound just came right into the waiting hands of Freud, established good position, went to his left, put up the easy layup, and now has a chance to complete the play. Freud has been quiet, but a 16 points and 8 rebound performance. So hardly quiet as he now picks up point 17, but really not as big an impact as you'd think considering the amount of chances he's had.
So the Maroons have found themselves going on a 9-2 run, Dave, since the Dolphins took their biggest lead of the game. It's 5. They now trail by 2. Taylor with the basketball. Taylor working the ball back to Spencer. Now it's Latunji. Latunji with 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Now Taylor. Taylor looking to work its way through a double team. Now it's Bracic. Bracic with 2 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Has to get the ball up. It goes in and out, but I believe he gets called for the 30-second violation, Dave. So Dolphins turn the ball over once again, and, you know, they've struggled a little bit offensively, Dave, since they took that 5-point lead off of the Maroon timeout.
And it's because the Maroons have amped up defensively again and have really pressured the perimeter. They've almost daring the Dolphins to penetrate inside, and they haven't been able to do that, have the Dolphins. They've settled for some lower percentage shots. And that's why the Maroons have taken this lead back.
So now the Dolphins find themselves needing a defensive stop here, as that's Jordan. Jordan looking to work against Rossiter. His shot is blocked away nicely, but it'll remain Maroon basketball with 13 on the shot clock.
Yeah, again, nice job by the Dolphins to clog up the interior. They don't want to let anything up. You know, they're willing to give up an open look 3, as we've seen.
Jordan looking to inbound the basketball. He feeds it inside to Miller, and he lays it up and in, and you see Roanoke pounding the ball inside, Dave, the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the Dolphins, 11-2 run here they've been a victim of.
So Taylor with the basketball now for the Dolphins. Dolphins need a good shot on this possession. Now it's Bracic out by the three-point line, guarded tightly by Miles. Now Rossiter puts up the open 3. It's no good, but Bracic able to grab the rebound, feed it inside to Taylor, and he lays it up and in. And a nice response that time, Dave, by the Dolphins, as we're going to have our first full timeout of the evening. 6 minutes, 46 seconds remaining here in the second half. Dolphins trail 65-63. You're watching the CUNYAC Game of the Week and the Consolation Game of the 16th Annual Tournament of Heroes right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
There's something delicious happening this season at Tim Hortons, and it's only 99 cents. Get a rich, decadent hot chocolate or creamy French vanilla for the sweet price of 99 cents. Great quality at a great value. It's all good.
We're back with 6 minutes and 46 seconds remaining. The Dolphins trailing Roanoke by a score of 65-63 on the CUNYAC Game of the Week right here on CSI Sportsnet. And Dave, the Dolphins were able to get the lead up to as many as 5. Roanoke came storming back, and the Dolphins now find themselves down by 2.
Yeah, and we were talking during the break how we both feel that this is one of those games that has the makings of going right down to the wire, a final shot, final three-point play, whatever. Dare I speak the unspeakable and say overtime, but, man, it's been a real hotly contested contest.
As Miles' feed inside to Freud is knocked away, and the Dolphins have the basketball, as that's Latunji. Latunji with the basketball. And we're going to have a whistle and an offensive foul. Boy, I'm not sure about that one, Dave.
No, I thought Latunji was stationary on the play, but he's going to get called for his second. Another turnover for the Dolphins. Dolphins have been credited with 5 blocks in this game. I think that's a low number. They've gotten a couple more than that, but Freud himself has been blocked 5 times, I believe.
And that'll even up the turnover total, Dave. 5 apiece here in the second half. As that's Jordan with the basketball, but his pass will sail out of bounds, and now that'll make it 6-5 in favor of the Maroons.
Give credit to the smaller Dolphins really clogging up the interior. There's just nowhere to go for Roanoke. You know, we know of their size advantage. We know what Freud has done on the interior, but man, oh man, the Dolphins are just not giving up much down low.
Taylor with the basketball now as the Dolphins try to tie or regain the lead with this possession. Now Spencer. Spencer looking to feed it inside to Taylor. And Taylor's going to draw the foul. And that'll be foul number 6, so the Dolphins will get to inbound.
Yeah, Taylor was being molested the entire way, Mike. He had 2 guys that just reaching in, grabbing his jersey, and you know, the referees have let him play in this one. It's been a very well-officiated game as far as that's concerned. That was an easy one.
As the Dolphins look to get the ball inside, and Taylor's going to draw another foul. And, you know, Dave, Christian played a very aggressive offensive game as he'll go to the free throw line to shoot a 1-and-1 here. But he played a very aggressive offensive game yesterday against Salisbury. And, you know, today he might have his most efficient offensive game as a Dolphin.
Yeah, 8 for 10, Mike. He made his first 4 shots of the game. He's made his last 4 shots of the game.
And you see Taylor's line there, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Unable to hit the free throw, but Rossiter able to grab the rebound for the Dolphins, but then the Dolphins lose possession, so they come up empty on that trip, Dave.
Yeah, Dolphins needed to show a little bit more for Rob Rossiter. He picked up a big offensive rebound, but then no one really came to the ball.
Miller with the basketball. Miller looking to drive his way inside, and that time it was Rossiter with the body who draws the foul.
Yeah, Rossiter will pick it up. That'll be his 3rd, and it will put Roanoke at the line because they too are now in the bonus, and they have been very good from the free throw line today. 10 of 11, while the Dolphins have just been 2 of 4. But these 1-and-1s, Mike, are so big because the front end, obviously, on a miss, you can prevent 2 points.
And Miller, who's hit his first 4, now has 5 in a row as he's been automatic from the free throw line. Is, you know, Roanoke making the Dolphins pay. They're now 11 of 12 from the line, make that 12 of 13. And that kind of free throw shooting, Dave, always helps.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, you look at most teams in the NCAA Division III and look at the team that performs best on the free throw line in games, they win a majority of games.
Taylor with the basketball now. Now it's Rossiter as the Dolphins trail by 4. Rossiter picks up his dribble, now gets the ball out over to Savage. Dolphins with 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Taylor looking to drive through a double team. Kicks it out to Rossiter. His open 3 is good. Another big basket here in the second half for Rob Rossiter.
He makes some big ones, Mike, and he has been terrific here in this second half.
So we're going to have a full timeout called on the floor by the Dolphins. 5:02 remaining here in this second half. Dolphins trail 67-66. You're watching the CUNYAC Game of the Week right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed.
There's something delicious happening this season at Tim Hortons, and it's only 99 cents. Get a rich, decadent hot chocolate or creamy French vanilla for the sweet price of 99 cents. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons. Own the morning with Tim Hortons. Get a sausage and cheese English muffin made to order for only $1. Made with savory sausage and American cheese on a toasted English muffin. Prepared for you for only $1. Great quality at a great value. It's all good.
We're back with 5 minutes and 2 seconds remaining, and the Dolphins doing a great job, Dave. Every time the Maroons have opened up the lead to 4 or 5 here in the second half, the Dolphins have come storming right back.
Yeah, and the question remains, who is going to really take control? Who's going to be the hero? Both these teams with equal opportunity here. The final 5, the championship 5, and the Dolphins down by 1.
So Jordan against Brachich here with 20 seconds on the shot clock, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul away from the ball, and that's going to lead to free throws. And
man, you really hope, Mike, that the I hate to say the smaller type fouls kind of can be avoided here in these final 5 minutes. It's been such a physical game, especially down low. You'd hate to see this in the later stages, as Joey Miller has been near perfect all day.
Yeah, pretty much giving them a basket, Dave, on a foul off the ball 20 feet away from the basket. And that was a tough foul. I didn't really see that much contact on that play, but Miller will go to the free throw line. Roanoke has done a great job from the free throw line, Dave. They have 14 points from the line here this afternoon compared to just 2 for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and 15 tries.
Taylor with the basketball over to Savage. Savage's open three-pointer is good, and the Dolphins come all the way back, Dave, to tie this one up at 69.
Official whistle on the floor. I thought somebody might have called a timeout, but with 4:36, another 0-0 game here in the final 4.5.
And another double-digit game for Ray Savage, Dave. He had 10 in the game yesterday. He now has 12 for the Dolphins here this afternoon. Jordan with the basketball. Jordan looking to work against Brachich. Jordan doing a nice job, but he gets forced back, and the pass inside to Freud is knocked away, and it goes out of bounds, and a big turnover that time for the Maroons.
Yeah, big break that time for the Dolphins as kind of an inexcusable turnover there, the 15th of the game for Roanoke.
7th of the second half for the Maroons as the Dolphins have the basketball, and now it's Taylor. Taylor gets the ball out over to Rossiter. Rossiter out behind the three-point line, now feeds it off to Taylor. Dolphins with 13 to shoot. Taylor uses the Spencer pick, drives to the basket, but his layup is up and no good.
Yeah, off balance, left-handed, just not enough strength on that layup.
Miller's pass is deflected away, but retrieved by the Maroons as it's Jordan. Jordan gets the ball out over to Davis. Now they work the ball inside to Freud. Freud's banker is up and in, and a good play that time by the Maroons, Dave, to pound the ball inside.
Yeah, absolutely. They saw a one-on-one isolation on Jade Spencer, and Freud does what he does best. He came into the game shooting 60% from the floor, makes another.
So 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining here in the second half, Dave. Let's keep it right here. And, Dave, the Dolphins have played very well here in the second half. They've outscored Roanoke 37-34 in the second half, find themselves trailing by 2. Anybody's game heading down the stretch.
Yeah, you know what? If you're a CSI Dolphin fan, you like this game and you like this scenario, you like this setup for a young team to test its mettle. They're without one of its strongest players in Stephen Flagg, who's basically averaged 24 minutes per game. They've been without his services, Rudy Laventure, basically CSI's sixth man all season. He is not in the lineup tonight, and yet the Dolphins find themselves down 2. Let's test the mettle of this young CSI Dolphins team. Can they find a way? Can they build off of some near misses and complete a game and beat a very good ODAC team and set themselves up for a good second half of the season? Or will Roanoke be able to leave Staten Island with 1 win under their belt and go back home to Salem with a record of 8-4? Just great storylines and a great setup here in the final 3.5.
And you got to go back to 2007, Dave. That's the last time the Dolphins didn't win either game in the Tournament of Heroes, as they dropped the consolation game to Stockton that year by a final score of 97-77. So the Dolphins have been very successful in this tournament, Dave, and looking to turn around a 2-point deficit here in the last 3:35.
Yeah, Mike, and the Tournament of Heroes is 16 years old, and make no mistake about it, this is one of the Northeast's best tournaments each and every year.
As Rossiter pulls up for the three-pointer, that was for the lead, but he can't get it to go. And the rebound is controlled now by Miles.
Rossiter with 10 second-half points. Those would have been huge.
Miles feeding the ball out over to Davis. Davis might have had one of the biggest three-pointers of the game, Dave, when the Dolphins were leading by 5, and he cut it down to 2. As they work the ball inside, and we're going to have a whistle and another foul on the play, Dave, as they're going to parade Miller back to the free throw line for his 5th and 6th shot attempts here in the last minute or so.
Yeah, that's a tough call. You know, Rossiter has established position there. He simply just puts his hands up, catches a little bit of Miller, but Miller is the aggressor there on that play, and just an unfortunate break there for Rob Rossiter.
So they go back to the free throw line, and that first free throw is up and in. Incredible 15 of 16 shooting here for Roanoke, including 8 of 9 here in this second half, and most of those free throws late in the second half. And another couple of points from the charity stripe opens the Roanoke lead back to 4. Taylor with the basketball. Taylor out by the three-point line. Taylor working it up over to Rossiter. Rossiter pulls up. That open three is up and no good, and a big miss there for Rossiter. Davis with the basketball now out by the three-point line. Davis working the ball out over in the corner to Miller. Miller's pass it to the corner is going to be knocked away by Brocic, but it will remain Roanoke basketball with 15 seconds to shoot. And with a 4-point lead, Dave, this is a huge defensive sequence for the Dolphins.
I agree here as Adeola Latunji returns to replace Rossiter, who's cooled off a little bit here, missed his last couple of shots, victim of a couple of fouls. So Latunji comes in to give him a blow.
As good defense that time by the Dolphins forces the Maroons to call a timeout, and it's going to be a full timeout. So why don't we step aside, take a break. We have 2 minutes, 34 seconds remaining here in the second half. Dolphins trail by a score of 73-69. You're watching the CUNYAC Game of the Week on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
We're back with 2 minutes and 34 seconds remaining, and the Dolphins trailing by 4, 73-69, as they need a defensive stop here, as it's the Maroons with the basketball.
10 on the shot.
Jordan with the basketball. Jordan looking to work his way inside. He fakes, and his floater in the lane is up. No good, but we're going to have a whistle and an offensive foul.
It's a bad call.
Called against Freud.
That is a bad call. I'm sorry, but Freud was just in position. The CSI defender had left the scene, and Dolphins just got one gift wrapped right there.
Yeah, they needed it, Dave, because that was going to be a big offensive rebound, a fresh shot clock with 2:20 remaining, and instead Savage is going to get an opportunity to go to the free throw line. Let's see if he can hit the front end of a 1-on-1, and I'm actually a little surprised the Dolphins don't have to inbound the ball.
We didn't have the replay run.
So we have 2 minutes and 21 seconds remaining here in this second half. The Dolphins trailing by a score of 73-69. I don't know who the foul could be on other than 35, Dave. If there's a foul on the play, it's on Freud.
They wanted to find out who was the foul against, Mike, whether it was Savage or Spencer. Instead, they put Spencer at the line.
Jade's front end of the 1-on-1 is no good, so the Dolphins hurt themselves, Dave, missing 2 consecutive front ends of the 1-on-1 here in the second half.
I'll give credit to the officials. They wanted to get it right, and that was a big call.
Jordan with the basketball now. He works the ball out now to the three-point line as the bounce pass goes up over to Miller. Miller, inside of 2 minutes remaining, drives down the lane and gets called for the travel.
Yeah, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Miller turns it over. It'll be Dolphin basketball as they're still down by 2 possessions, Dave. Big offensive chance here for CSI.
And I was going to say there's a reason why Miller is consistently going to the basket, because when they get to the line, they've been lights out, as evidenced on your screen. A huge advantage in free throw shooting.
Taylor with the basketball here for the Dolphins. He hands the ball off to Rossiter as the Dolphins work the ball around the perimeter now to Bracic, and Bracic is going to draw the foul as he's held on the play, so it'll be Eden going to the free throw line. For 1-and-1, Dave. The Dolphins just 2 of 5 from the free throw line here this afternoon.
And Bracic does not get to the line very often. He's only 7 of 9 this season. I mean, that's obviously very good, 78%. But the Dolphins just 2 of 5 from the free throw line today. They've missed more than Roanoke has, and Roanoke has had 12 more shots at the line than CSI has had. Here's the first of a 1-and-1, and it is good. That's a huge one for Bracic because it basically takes this one down to a 1-possession game, Mike, with 1:43 to go.
Big second free throw coming up here for Eden. It's up and in, so he hits 2 big ones, and it's now a 2-point game, 73-71.
Bracic now with 10 points on the evening.
Davis on the floor now, the freshman with the basketball for the Maroons. He looks to work against Taylor. Bounce pass goes inside to Freud. He's looking to work against Spencer. He looks to back his way inside. A lot of body on the play, and he's able to get it up and in. And he pounded off Spencer a couple of times and then hit the short jumper.
Well, give him credit. I mean, Spencer wasn't really giving him much, and Freud made his space. Got the nice friendly roll.
As Taylor misses a big layup there, and now the Maroons with the basketball at a 4-point lead.
Yeah, 2 possessions no matter what here for the Dolphins, so they got to get a stop.
Jordan looking to work against Taylor as Jordan. Now Spencer comes over to play against Jordan. As the shot clock continues to wind down, it's down to 10. The open three-pointer is up no good as that time Freud just shoved the smaller Savage down to the floor, and he picks up the foul.
Yeah, but Freud and Savage have a few words there, I think all in good fun, as Freud did not like the call. But more importantly, Mike, with the clock stopped at 48.4, it puts Savage at the line, and he will shoot 2, Mike, because CSI is now in the double bonus. Savage this season 14 of 16 from the free throw line, and this, I believe, will be his first attempt. It will be of the afternoon.
2 big free throws coming up here for Ray Savage. Savage with 12 points for the Dolphins here today on 4 of 7 shooting, all from behind the 3-point line.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a good performance for him. He was thrust into a starting role tonight, and some big free throws down the stretch here, and he makes the first of 2.
1 more upcoming here for Savage, as he looks to draw the Dolphins to within 2, and he does with 48.4 seconds remaining. And here we go, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. We said it would come down to a possession in the final moments. The Dolphins will have at least 1 possession to them guaranteed.
Miles brings the ball across the midcourt line, and Latunji is there to guard him. Clock continuing to wind down now, 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Miles content to wind that shot clock down. Now he looks to drive his way inside. He's forced back, driving his way down the lane, and the floater is up and in. And C.J. Miles, 5 of 6 from the field, Dave, 14 points, and maybe the biggest basket of the afternoon for the Maroons.
And he's coming off of a 5 or 6 minute stretch where he's been awfully quiet, Mike. Hasn't even been on the floor a great deal, but he basically had the ball that entire possession in, I believe, 26 seconds of the 30-second shot clock. And that's exactly what you want if you're a Roanoke fan. You get to shave off almost all the time from the shot clock and get 2 points to boot. So the Dolphins here, they need 2 possessions regardless. So obviously it's going to be a made basket, foul, and then try a, look for a miss, obviously, the other way. But a lot has to fall into place now a lot of dominoes have to fall. We'll see what the Dolphins draw up.
So Miles looked to drive inside, Dave. The Dolphins did a nice job of forcing him back, but Miles remained determined, and he took it inside the lane and, made a tough shot inside to make this a two-possession game.
No, yeah, that goes all on the shoulders of Miles, because the Dolphins were there defensively. I think Latunji lost him just a little bit going for the steal, but still, you can't blame any of the defense on that last exchange, and that's just a nice play by Miles. And Mike, while we have a few moments, we should let our viewers know that at the end of this game, win, lose, or draw, and we go into overtime or what have you, we will take a break. We will end this broadcast officially, and then we'll come back on the air for Game 2 of our Tournament of Heroes, which will feature Salisbury and Oneonta in the championship final. So we hope you'll join us there for Game 2, and we promised you 2 good ones, Mike, and we got a great one here in the first one.
We sure do, Dave, as the Dolphins looking to claw their way back down 2 possessions. C.J. Miles with the big basket, and, he was the leading scorer coming in for the Maroons, and he hits the biggest basket, and now it's Taylor with the basketball. Dolphins need to get a shot up quick. Savage out by the three-point line. That long three-pointer is up, no good. It'll be out of bounds, and, I think that one was just short, Dave, and Dolphins won't get the ball up to the rim here with 9.5 seconds remaining, and it looks like, Dave, for the first time since 2007, the Dolphins in danger of losing both games in the Tournament of Heroes championship.
Yeah, and doesn't it figure, too, Mike, that what might have sealed the deal there in the waning moments was that great perimeter defense that Roanoke has been able to really put together when they've needed it. I mean, the Dolphins have been hitting some threes all game long. They've gotten some big buckets, but every time Roanoke has clawed themselves back into this game, Mike, it's because that perimeter defense has been so strong, and they haven't let the Dolphins inside. As a result, points have been at a premium, and that magic number of 75, Mike, when the Dolphins go over, they're 4-0. When they go under, they're 0-5. And look at them stuck at 73. It's a bad omen for them. And 9.5, the game certainly is not over, but certainly the door is closing.
And, the Dolphins have held the rebounding edge, Dave, really almost the whole game. Roanoke has now closed it to 28-27, and you look at a couple of the big numbers, 16 of 17 from the free throw line for Roanoke, also outscoring the Dolphins on the bench, Dave, 29-7.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing. The Dolphins really haven't had much of a bench. Rigo Desteam has been in. Delahanty played only for a couple of minutes, but that's been about it. Dolphins with a lot of their big guns in this one. Stephen Flagg not in the game. LaVentura not in the game, and so it goes.
So the Dolphins get themselves an opportunity, at least, by forcing the turnover. They'll get to inbound the basketball with 8.1 seconds remaining. And, Dave, they don't necessarily need a three-point shot here, but they do need to get the ball up to the basket quickly.
Christian Kopech with his first action of the game for the Dolphins. He will inbound, but he's a lethal three-point shooter.
So Kopech gets the ball to Savage. Now it's Taylor. The Dolphins have to shoot, Dave, as Taylor's jumper is up around the rim and no good, but that's going to do it. The Dolphins battle all the way, Dave, find themselves trailing in this game by double digits, fight their way back, take a lead as many as 5. But as we mentioned, for the first time since 2007, they won't win a game here in the tournament as they fall to Roanoke by a final score of 77-73.
Yeah, Dolphins started the game on paper with a disadvantage. They were missing one of their routine starters. They had a couple of guys out of the lineup that they really could have used. All the same, they had a chance to win at the end. They held the lead from as many as 5 points in the second half. But Roanoke resisted, resilient, just puts up too much of a fight, and they go on to win this one by a score of 77-73, and a well-earned victory for Roanoke. They leave with a big win on their hands, and they go back home to Virginia, a record of 8-4. The Dolphins will fall to 4-6. Tough break for the Dolphins, but definitely one to grow on.
Yeah, and Dave, the Dolphins aren't going to have too much time to lick their wounds as they're going to be back in action this Wednesday against Lehman College on both the women's and men's side. And, Dave, before we sign off the air here after game number 1, we should spend a minute talking about the great effort the women put in yesterday up in Massachusetts against MIT. We had a little bit of a chance to talk about it on the air yesterday, but the Dolphins gave MIT all they wanted and fell for only the second time all season long, and their first loss in Division III for the year.
Yeah, they had a chance right at the end too, Mike, of overtime and regulation. They couldn't get it to go, but Dolphins have nothing. I mean, when you have to go on the road to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and play a team like MIT, it's always going to be tough. And Dolphins played it right down on the wire. We look forward to welcoming them on Wednesday as part of a doubleheader against Lehman College, where they get back to CUNY play. But for now, of course, we'll turn our attention to the championship. We don't have much time, Mike, between games, so let's break this one down. Christian Taylor, our CSI player of the game, without question, really amped it up. Ray Savage with a great game in his second start of the season. Dolphins come up short, 77-73, and of course, we look forward to the next one.
So that's going to wrap things up here from game number one. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Dave Pizzuto will bring you play-by-play of game number 2, the championship game, as it'll be Salisbury against SUNY Oneonta. You watched the CUNYAC Game of the Week right here on CSI Sports at CSIDolphins.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.